Why? What was it that you were in college and you just noticed something about a need? So take us back then. What did you notice? And so what was the
My
origin?
dad taught me, I wasn't raised in a family of entrepreneurs. My dad didn't have any equity in any rental properties or any businesses. He was a very high performing leader at a company, but he taught me how to think about business by putting me on a lawnmower when I was a kid, and I was making 20 bucks an hour when all my friends were making 6.25 working at Subway. So everywhere I went, I was thinking, how does that company make money? How does this company make money? And in Ithaca, New York, I saw Big Red Moving and Storage. They were doing things in a really crappy way, weighing boxes, inefficient, driving around campus, picking up stuff. They did pick up and delivery storage when the students went home. And I was like, dang, did some basic math about how many crews they had. I followed one of the trucks back to the warehouse, saw how big it was. And I did some math that they probably made $400,000 in revenue in Ithaca, New York in one season. And I'm like, damn, if I can outdo them and make $200,000 of revenue and 50K of its profit, I'm earning about the same amount of money that I would if I went and got a job out of college. So I just got excited about that prospect of, trading my time for money and replacing that income. Next thing you know, we're, 3 years down the road doing, over $1 million of revenue. And then, 2016 was our first year where we did over 2 million of annual revenue. And it was a really hard business. I mean, we had 8 main locations, 25 colleges, and it all happened at one time. Everything happened during finals week. So we had to have, 200 part-time employees driving trucks around and organizing warehouses. We had to get boxes everywhere, supplies. So I learned delegation, management, operations, by just putting my nose to the grindstone and doing really hard things, man.
Again, obviously, our listeners are going, who is this guy? Because it's natural to you, but it's not natural to most. It's not. So what you're doing is so amazing. And just that one business, that's the first one. But so you understand it, folks, you got to read Sweaty Startup. You understand?
Yeah. Fast forward to 2015, we realized that, hey, this business is good. It can pay us, we were making maybe 250K between us, a year, but it's super, super stressful. I mean, we'd lose 20 pounds during the busy season because there was no time to eat. We were sleeping in warehouses in Everett, Massachusetts, back when that was not a good neighborhood. And we realized, hey, we got to figure out something else. So we thought, okay, what's a business out there? We just looked unemotionally at the market, said, what's a business where not very smart people are making a whole lot of money? And we found really quick that self-storage owners, they didn't answer the phone. They didn't have websites. They didn't do digital marketing. They didn't charge enough. They were 100% full. They didn't answer the phone on weekends. And yet a self-storage facility, we did the math on, every unit's charging $100. They got 300 units. That's 30,000 US dollars a month coming in revenue. We're like, all right, we're in the wrong business. So instead of doing the reasonable thing, which is go acquire one of those buildings, they were cheap as hell at that time. Mm-hmm. We went and built one from the ground up, raised 2.9 million from a bank. We raised 1.7 from a bank. We raised a bunch more from investors, and built a storage facility from the ground up. A 50, not a small one.
Nick, you're going way too fast. This is not you. Now, you said I raised that money. How old were you when you raised that money?
I was 24 years old, going from dinner table to dinner table.
Okay, no,
2015. Sorry, I was 26. I was 26.
Still, you're still a kid going to banks, having a concept, raising money, right? It's just incredible. So, but I'm going to take a step back because I read something in the book and it was really interesting. You had your doubters, to say the least, when you were doing your ideas. And so share the story of your teammates. You're doing sports like me in college, sports and business and everything else. Yep. So tell folks about the doubters and what you learned from that.
Anytime you do something unique in life, there's going to be a small subset of people who support you and want you to win. And then there's going to be a silent majority that don't really want you to win because watching you win makes them feel worse about themselves. That's just kind of the way life works, is that there's a lot of people with a crab in a bucket mentality that if somebody's trying to get out, they'll try to pull you back down. So yeah, we bought a $1,500 beat up red rusty cargo van on Craigslist, and we were driving that around town picking up boxes. Running a moving company was, looking back, it was pretty laughable. Like, they had a reason to make fun of me, but I'm about to walk into practice one day. I'm a junior. Some of the seniors on the team, guys that won races and were respectable, I kind of hear them talking when I'm walking in the locker room, and I kind of sit back and realized they're talking about me. They're making fun of me. They're saying, we're out here getting, I remember the quote, like we're out here getting jobs at Goldman Sachs in New York City, and Huber's driving around they called the van a not kind word for a van with no windows that you drive around town. And it just hurt. It hurt. Like, I can sit here and act like you see a confident persona on Twitter. I was really confident in life in general, but anybody who says they don't care what people think is kind of lying. So
Sure.
I had to kind of just suck it up, go about my business. And, it didn't really start to pay off for about 4 or 5 years after that. But then I started to make more money than they made.